today is service day, so bear with me. We'll get back to our discussions of various nuns this week, starting tomorrow. Um, but because today is service day, it is going to go a little bit weird, or a little bit off of my usual format, we should probably say. Also, I'm personally kind of in a funk today, so yeah, there's that. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the normal chanting and such, and then we'll dip right into the Dharma talk, or the Dharma reading and the Dharma talk, and that's gonna be really short. I'm not gonna play this one out like I usually do. And then I'm gonna send you guys off to view a link, and we will call it at that. So let's go ahead and get started. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Anatipata Brahmanishka Param Samadhyami, Rinnanana Brahmanishka Param Samadhyami, Kamesu Michachara Brahmanishka Param Samadhyami, Savana Brahmanishka Param Samadhyami, Suraviraya Madhya Pamanatana Brahmanishka Param Samadhyami. Dharma reading and Dharma talk. I'm gonna move myself this direction. Dharma reading and Dharma talk are today going to be two passages, plus I'm going to post a link in the comments for a video that is a part of this. So bear with me. They all kind of blend. They all kind of lead right one into the other uh, in a unique kind of way. So let's get right to it. So the first passage comes from the Sabha Sutta, um, all the taints or defilements, as it were. Um, and so the the thing that I'm looking at today, we're looking at endurance. We're looking at who's going to figure stuff out, and then we're going to look at a little piece of encouragement as best I can. I'm going to try and blend them all together. I'm going to try and put them all in one nice little basket. We'll see if it works. So, first passage. Um, and this is Sabha Sutta again. Um, what defilements, bhikkhu, or what taints, bhikkhus, should be abandoned by enduring? Here a bhikkhu, a monk, reflecting wisely, bears cold and heat, hunger and thirst, and contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, the sun, and creeping things. He endures ill-spoken, unwelcome words and arisen bodily feelings that are painful, racking, sharp, piercing, disagreeable, distressing, and menacing to life. While taints, vexation, and fever might also arise in one who does not endure such things, there are no taints, vexation, or fever for one who endures them. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by enduring. And so what we're getting at here is, yes, I know that we're coming up on, we're coming towards the end of the kind of stay-at-home time, but we still have to endure it. Because if we don't endure, well, the Buddha says very clearly that we can expect all of those things that come from the taints to keep going, uh, and as well, he kind of brings in illness and fevers and such. So enduring is definitely a good thing. We want to endure, right? That's what the Buddha is telling his monks you should be doing. Uh, Now what I'm going to get into is who should be enduring. So we've talked about what. Now we're going to talk about who. When and where are kind of immaterial, because that's everywhere and that's all the time. Uh, and then we'll get into why. And for that, I have a link. I obviously can't play a copyrighted piece of or a copyrighted item, so I'm not going to. But I will post the link so that you guys can go and watch the official version and then kind of contemplate for yourselves exactly what it means and exactly why I would be using that as a why we should endure. So, alright. So we've gone through what, now we've got who. And for this I'm going back to the Dhammapada verses that we've already covered if you've been watching fairly regularly. So, who will transcend this world? And this is 44 through 46. Who will transcend this world? Who will transcend the realm of the dead and heaven too with all its gods? Who will find the true and shining way of the path? You will. Even as the gatherer of flowers discovers the finest and the rarest, so will you gather the teachings and transcend this world. Right? So that's not something that you can just do. And I know we've talked about it before, right? This is kind of something that you have to make the effort. You have to put in the time. You have to endure. But you'll get there. You will, right? You will if you put in the effort. If you endure just a little bit, you'll get to the goal. If you endure just a little bit, you will transcend this world and all of its stuff. You will go past all of the taints that the Buddha mentioned. And when you do that, that's when you reach the goal, right? And at least as far as the short term goal of getting us to the end of the kind of stay at home times, we do that by enduring. We do that by, I know it's hard sometimes, and you want to go out and do everything like you normally would, right? It's comfortable to have a pattern. It's comfortable to have a routine, but enduring it is more important. Enduring it is has more value. Enduring has more merit. So we should endure. Now, why would we endure? Well, like I said from the beginning, I'm going to keep this incredibly short because I'm kind of in a funk. And the passages that I wanted to go through, talking about enduring, I know it's painful. I know it doesn't feel, it's not what we want. I know that. But as we go through this, as we deal with this, toward, and yes, we're towards the end of it, but we still got to keep enduring. We got to keep enduring until we reach the goal. Whether that's the goal of enlightenment, which is what the Buddha is talking about, or whether that's the goal of getting us to a point where we as a society can start normalizing and start going back out and doing things kind of like we used to. Obviously, it won't be exactly, but kind of like we used to. All right, and so the link that I'm gonna post, it's for a song, and I suppose the reason that I'm in a funk is partially to do with this song. Not entirely, right? Part of it is just me, um, but part of it is to do with this song, which is um, One Republic's "Better Days." I know, some of you don't particularly care for One Republic, but deal with it for just a second. Uh, that song has, and especially they did like a quarantine version of it, right, where they're stuck in quarantine, and so they're still making their music and they're still doing this particular song, and both the song itself and the video really, to me, kind of speak to, yeah, it sucks right now. Yeah, it's not where we want to be. We're not where we want to be. We need to be, we feel like we really should be someplace else doing other things, doing better things, doing, you know, normal things. Those better days are ahead of us. Those better days, they're on the horizon. They're not here yet, but they're on the horizon. Wow, my camera's doing weird things now. So as much as I can't play that song because again it is copyrighted and I'm not going to get into that territory, I will put the link to it so you guys can go and view it on your own and see if it relates. Maybe I'm kind of just in a funk and off my rocker, um, but I think it really does relate. I think it speaks to the kind of like we need to endure just a little bit more, just a little bit more, right? As the Buddha has said, in the Dhammapada as well, in different passages, of course.